Grand day, breath family. What is going on? Welcome back. We're talking about the Aussie bioweapon and a little bit of scalar talk, scalar solutions, scalify everything for real. My thing is going a little quick reset from the water talk. If a lot of you can go out there selling Kangen machines, you can go out there selling scalars, and it'll have such a deeper impact, in my opinion. Okay, so let's tap into where are we? All right, scalar info. So, this is the result of a energy weapon being used on quote-unquote peaceful protesters. And this is the results. People are also puking out blood as well. I think that part was a little bit too graphic, so I'm not sharing that on here. But people were puking up blood from Melbourne, Australia. What's going on? Yeah, I'm also going to share with you live footage of those protesters, even having like an EMF reader in terms of the radiation. Oh, differences between them, so to know which one to purchase. Which one are you referring to? You talking about the pyramid or the scalars? Is Kangen water legit? Yes and no. I feel Kangen water in general is great for people who still eat acidic foods, in my opinion. But long term, no. Because your stomach lining, it'll catch up to you. Alright, the scalars. Yeah, the difference. So there's scalar stickers. Are you talking about the impulse generator? If you're referring that. So the impulse generator is more of something hands-on. And it's resonating in the aspect of biophotons. But we can tap into that a little bit later, and I'll go over the differences for sure. So let me share what's going on. I see Russ. In here. What's going on, Russ? And what's going on, Ruckus? I see you, brother. Alright, scalar info. So, these were the energy weapons, and they're called LRAD. I don't know what the LRAD stand for, but Long Range Acoustic Device. And yeah, they talked about this before this protest happened. They talked about utilizing this in the G20 summit in 2009. In 2009, they talked about utilizing this, and here we are, fast forward today. We don't have to get a whole bunch of police officers to push and dismantle you, And now we have Senate people that are working in government coming out saying like, hey, DNA weapons, they're real. Not chemical, bioweapon. Long range, using what? Utilizing scalar waves to target people. But you can do the complete opposite. I like to say whatever they can do, we can do. And just like all those testimonials you've seen, unfortunately, their harsh reality is you can do the complete opposite of all those beautiful testimonials you've seen on my page and on my YouTube. You can do the complete opposite, and that's what they've been doing, unfortunately, to these protesters. And I'm going to go over live video footage, and we're going to go over to the military actually admitting like, yeah, we did it, we used it.
Mate, just what's on your van here? What do you put on that wave? Audio wave to microwave the people?
Caught them right there and there.
This is coming out of Epic Showground, and it's a police car with a microwave radiation mate. Just what's on the van here? What do you put on that wave? Audio wave to put to...
Now I'm going to go over even ambulances and police, even the sirens. You think that is healing? You think those sounds are healing? If I were to show you the difference of what that sound does to your blood cells, you think that's healing? You think that's really healing? There's a few artists that follow me and they do live tours, etc. And we've been having conversations. I'm like, hey, you have all those people in your crowd and you've seen the work I've done. It doesn't hurt to, put the scalar wave on and blast them with harmonious frequencies if you're really about that, No one has to know. You already have so many assistants. Protect yourself as well, because think about it like this. You have a whole view of people and their energy is just blasting at you in so many different ways. Why not create a harmonic standpoint? I know some of these artists, they don't have, you could say, harmonic music, etc., but they're aware. They're not dumb. Look what happened with the whole Travis Scott situation, right? Yeah. Just frequencies alone. If it's not harmonious and it's causing people to pass out, etc., especially with certain heavy metals in their body from certain things, I give it 2 more years. 2 more years, just like they're coming out right now saying, oh, this side effect, oh, this really doesn't work, this and that. I give it 2 more years and you're going to see some pretty harsh stuff. And that's why I'm pushing out scalar so much at this point, because I'm just doing what I can. I could care less what everyone else is doing in the aspect of degrading humanity in so many different ways when they know it's wrong. Where's your moral compass, right? Check this out. Whenever it wants to pop up. It's been doing a good job popping up, but it's been lagging. Hopefully you guys can also hear the audio coming from it. Greetings. Yeah, don't need to send. Yeah, you don't need them to say it. Someone goes, dude, as soon as I get close to a 5G tower, I get a headache. Yeah, some people are numb. They don't even really feel the difference. And they said, oh, why am I feeling this way? Why is it not showing up? It might take a while to show up. But it's the perfect video showing what's happening. And the guy literally has the meter reading what's going on in real time during the protests. Instagram is not letting me upload it. But let's see here.
Where the protest was in fact occurring. Can you confirm whether the AFP had long-range acoustic devices at Parliament House on Saturday?
That would be something that is our police methodology, which we would have to look at some sort of public interest immunity claim.
Public interest immunity.
Senator?
Is there any, surely it's in the public interest to know whether or not they were there without delving too much into it?
I'd have to, if I could take that on notice, I'd have to get advice.
Okay, I'll be happy.
Meaning it's classified.
I'll be happy for that. And also, if you could tell us what type they were, please.
Sure.
And can you confirm whether or not they were used at any point?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
He said sure.
And thank you, Chief.
He literally said yes. The guy literally had to push it out from him.
Can you confirm whether the AFP had
again.
long-range
Listen
acoustic
to it
devices at Parliament House on Saturday?
That would be something that is our police methodology, which we would have to
He's
look
choking
at
up
some
on
sort
it.
of public interest immunity claim. Senator?
Is there any, surely it's in the public interest to know whether or not they were there without delving too much into it?
I'd have to, if I could take that on notice, I'd have to get advice.
It would have been a clear answer if it was just a no, right?
And also, if you could tell us what type they were, please.
Sure.
And can you confirm whether or not they were used at any point?
Sure.
Thank you
He
very
said
much.
sure.
And thank you, Chief.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
He said
Whether
yes.
protest was in fact occurring.
He basically said yes, and the judge literally had to like pry it out of him. It was like, at least give me a yes, give me a no. Just let me know whether or not it was okay. It was all right. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. Yeah, because check this out. If listen, you don't think America has the same equipment that you literally saw? I mean, I gotta dig deep for it, but yes, there was similar devices. That's actually, they would set up on the high building because some would get months in advance. Like, oh, the protest is gonna happen this day. Okay, some of them would sit up high, like a building this high, and just aim it down towards the crowd as they walk by, instead of the cars. I mean, the cars is very interesting. I don't know why they utilize the cars, but that's one way of doing it. Now let's see if I can finally get that video on here. I might have to screen record and then upload it. Oh, here we
It's
go.
unbelievable that it's at 18,000 and it's actually...
This is during the protest.
Yeah. 16, 19.
I've never seen it that high in my life.
Me either.
I've never ever seen it that high in my fucking life.
That is getting fucking fried. That is getting microwaved.
They're frying it.
It's chopped out on peak.
Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah.
So what's that? 20 times the legal amount of EMF reading.
Yeah. It's more than I've ever seen in my life. Ever. I've never seen more than that.
Really?
It's unbelievable that it's
at 18,000 and it's actually from fucking
I'll play it one more time.
16, 19.
I've never seen it that high in my life.
Me either.
I've never ever seen it that high in my fucking life.
That is getting fucking fried. That is getting microwaved.
They're frying it.
It's chopped out on peak.
Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah.
So what's that? 20 times the legal amount of EMF.
Boom. That was live during the whole protest when they were just beaming it at people. And unfortunately, pain without injury. The active denial system. Man, so the wave penetrates his skin. It doesn't need to be that close. Look at the frequency waves, 95 gigahertz, just blasting it at people. You don't need a whole crowd of police officers anymore. You just take out that and go like, boom, just beam it at people. And who's not to say, if they have curfews all over again, etc., what if these type of vehicles, or you might even not... Listen, the satellite is kind of overkill, honestly, but you really don't even need the satellite to be on top. Actually, you can get a regular ass looking car and do the exact same thing. I mean, we actually do that with ours, but it's more harmonizing. And what's very interesting, when we have it on, before we took a picture of the car, we would actually have it inside the car and we drive around with it remotely. You know, people, even here in Miami, people were just like, all right, go through it. It felt like I was driving in Cali. Because honestly, Miami, it's pretty rough out here in terms of the commute in driving, but it literally felt like I was driving in Cali. Everyone just like got out the way and just like, hey, you can cut us. It was very interesting. If I had like a behavioral scientist with us, I wonder, in 30 days, if we did that for 30 days straight, I wonder what they would pick up on and what's the difference without it. So it would be like a whole 60-day full experiment. If anyone knows one here in Miami, please, that'd be really cool to experiment with that. But these are the times we're living in. It's no more sci-fi. This is reality. And I'm going to share with you something similar to the Montauk experiment that's happening. And what do you think it is?
Cities you won't believe actually exist. Number one is called Whittier, Alaska. All of the residents in this town live in the same building. It's a 14-level building, and it used to be a military facility. Inside this building has a police station, a school, a church, a hospital, stores, and much, much more. Next is the sleeping city of
The
Kalachi,
sleeping city.
where the residents all fall asleep for no reason. I wish I could live in this city. People who live there randomly start slurring their words and falling into a deep slumber. This has been going on for many years, and people who study this still do not understand it. Cities you won't believe actually.
So what do you think is causing them to just like go like knocked out? What does it sound like to you? If you know anything about the Montauk experiments, it sounds like one of the Montauk experiments where they were playing a certain frequency in the middle of a town, and it caused most of the residents to get angry. And the other experiment was it caused them to get more sexual as well. So you tell me, what do you think they were utilizing to get people to just knock out like that? Until this day, it's actually still happening, by the way. So what do you think is happening? It's definitely a town that they're still actively doing that experiment to. Frequency should be the language you should always think about. And I don't mean frequency as in, oh, this hurts, that hurts, but things you start to recognize on a day-to-day basis, because that is your frequency. Again, what you do frequently becomes your frequency, right? I don't expect someone that's always around dense people to make huge shifts in the right direction towards this lifestyle, right? Or at least being more aware about protecting their energy, etc., right? I gave up on that. I don't expect anyone to do that. If people are naturally on the wave and not waiting to get left behind, you're going to take action. Exactly. Sounds like a low frequency zone interfering with their melatonin production and circadian rhythm. You hit it right on the head, Eon. Thank you for sharing that. I want to wake up from this nightmare. The aspect of waking up from the nightmare is doing as much as you can to harmonize and align yourself to certain resonance of being. That way you attract, hey, there's a reason why you're listening to this all right now, right? You all attracted it. I'm going to tell it like it is. You're hearing this information for a reason. Beyond me as a vessel, beyond the ego or whatever, you're hearing this speak through me. You're hearing the energy speak through me to you for a reason. In the aspect of magnetizing this energy towards you. Right? Again, let's go over this one last time and then we'll take on questions. Someone had scalar questions. But this was happening live during the protest, guys. During the protest.
Mate, just what's on the van here? What do you put on that wave? Audio wave to microwave the people?
This is during Australia for those who are just joining.
This is coming out of Epic Showground, and it's a police car with a microwave radiation. Mate, just what's on the van here? What do you put on that wave?
I would actually jump in front of the car and go straight to the driver.
It's unbelievable. That is
Yeah,
Look at this.
18,000, and it's actually from fucking meter out.
Yeah.
16, 19.
I've never seen it that high in my life. I've never
ever.
ever seen it that high in my fucking life.
That is getting fucking fried. That is getting microwaved.
This is during the
It's dropped out on
protest.
peak.
Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah.
So what's that? 20 times the legal amount of EMF reading.
Yeah. It's more than I've ever
They're not
seen in my
pointing to
life.
anything. They're just there in the field getting fried because
It's unbelievable.
yeah, man,
That's 18,000.
it's wild. It's wild. And that's just like a first layer. That's a first layer. They can blast a whole city if they wanted to. That's just like a first layer. That's a first tier type of technology. Like, hey, all these protesters are out. We don't like them. Let's just use it on them. Right? And then, unfortunately, things like this happen. I have more pictures, but maybe I'll do another live and just go through them over and over again. And just share. This is the reality we live in. And it's time to be protected. If you live in New York, by the way, if you go to Central Park, and I want you to really feel the difference, because Central Park actually is on the scalar as we speak. I put Central Park on the scalar. I put the Empire State Building on the scalar. And if you live over there, go to different parks and then go to Central Park and tell me if you feel the difference in Central Park. Central Park now is officially on the scalar. And yeah, New York itself, honestly, is a really dense city. when we hit the border touching Jersey, you just feel it. It's like, whoa. Just hit another layer of reality over here. For real. And it was hurting in Jen's chest. Like she could really feel the contrast. She could really feel the contrast. So let's choose a different asset, and I'm going to share what they said in the Congress House,
where the protest was in fact occurring. Can you confirm whether the AFP had long-range acoustic devices at Parliament House on Saturday?
That would be something that is our police methodology, which we would have to look at some sort of public
basically,
interest.
I'm not sure if I can tell you yet, because I think it's classified. You wanted to say that.
Is there any, surely it's in the public interest to know whether or not they were there without delving too much into it?
I'd have to, if I could take that on notice, I'd have to get advice.
Okay, I'll be happy. I understand. I'll be happy for that. And also, if you could tell us what type they were, please.
Sure.
And can you confirm whether or not they were used at any point?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Yes, he
And
basically
thank you,
said yes.
Where the protest was in fact
Basically
occurring.
said
Can
yes.
you confirm whether the AFP had long-range
Let's listen
acoustic
to it one more
devices at
time.
Parliament House on Saturday?
Long wave acoustic devices.
That would be something that is our police methodology, which we would have to look at some sort of public interest immunity claim. Senator?
Is there any, surely it's in the public interest to know whether or not they were there without delving too much into
I'd
it?
have to, if I could take that on notice, I'd have to get advice.
Okay, I'll be happy. I understand. I'll be happy for that. And also, if you could tell us what type they were, please.
Sure.
And can you confirm whether or not they were used at any point?
Sure.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Chair. Thank you very
Yeah. Alright guys, let's go to any scalar questions. And I want to remind you, if you didn't catch the previous live, if you live in the US and you see a water tower next to you, or you find one in your environment, or if you're traveling wherever in the US, take a picture of it and send it to devon@alchemybreath.work, and we will place it on the scalar for free. This started with California, with the whole news coming out about that dirty water. And yeah, we're gonna go from there. Yeah, they'll never take accountability. Listen. We live in a corporate society. And what do I mean by that? America is a corporation. There's even a whole video going viral right now in the sovereign community, literally with Mitt Romney saying that everyone is a corporation. Everyone is a corporation. You have tags. You all are corporations. Literally blatantly saying that out loud. I was like, oh snap. Maybe that's why you didn't become president. I don't know. I don't read too much into it, but it is what it is. But hey, corporate interests. The CIA, corporate interests. NASA, the real NASA behind the fake NASA, corporate interests. And I've met many NASA scholars who tell me how similar NASA is to CIA, way beyond your like, what? Yeah, there's certain contracts that the CIA have with NASA, and I can go on and on. But anyway, it's just like when Dr. Michaels, when she turned on her scalar, she was actually the first woman to be put on DEFCON. She put the whole country on DEFCON. NASA, CIA, U.S. military all came swooping in, and then the NASA government, the NASA people understood, like, hey, I think this is actually what's happening, and they went in first before CIA and all them people. She said helicopters were flying around. Cops came by blocking off the streets. It was wild, man. Wild. But when the Nassau people came in, they were like, "All right, we want to utilize this for the stuff that we use." So, shoot, NASA has been using scalar for the last 20 plus years with their astronauts and healing, etc. Again, you can scalify anything. Forget about a med bed. Make your whole home a med bed. What about that? Make your whole community a med bed. And the only reason why we did the scalar infused tensor rings because a lot of you were asking for it. So honestly, I wouldn't do it. But a lot of you were asking for it. I'm like, hey, why not? So every tensor ring that we ship out goes onto the scalar. And you can do the exact same thing with your own scalar, by the way. Remember, it comes with the video tutorials, etc. Yeah, someone asked if we ship to South Africa. We ship worldwide, guys. We have scalars all over the world at this point. At least from our batch. All over the world. So we're literally creating our own network. And that same scalar sticker that you saw on the website is literally on every scalar, and that same design is on every scalar that we ship out. So that's why you've seen the testimonials you've seen utilizing just the scalar stickers alone. The guy's lights were flickering. Oh, that one's so funny. Remember, if you're gonna use the stickers in your house, place at least 3 of them in the corner, at least first, and then place them wherever you want. Corners, always aim for the corners. Always aim for corners first. Hey, yeah, the Vatican got technology that a lot of people don't know about. You know, look at what's that show? It's called Nuns, Warrior Nuns. That's technology. Even in the show, they say that. Are you telling me I have this alien technology? They're not even talking about divine God technology. They're talking about, you telling me I have this alien-like technology? All these little hidden things that has been in those scrolls down in the Vatican for so long. Yeah, if you have questions, let them out here. Medbed. So medbed is basically, the whole phrase medbed is basic crystals on a bed, and you can pump frequencies, etc. on the bed. But you can do the exact same thing to a whole house, right? When I went up to Jersey, and I'm going to give you guys something to reference on, with the collider and monks, where they put a whole bunch of monks in the collider to meditate, right? And they tell them, all right, get out. And when they went back to test readings, biophotonic readings, after they meditated for hours, it was still pretty high in the collider. So what does that tell you? You have an energetic imprint no matter where you go, specifically when you're a kid, right? So I went to the places where I was a kid. I took a picture of the old house I used to stay in as a kid before we moved, and I took pictures of the whole neighborhood block, etc., because some of them is still connected to the ghetto, etc. So when you take pictures of those neighborhoods and place it on the scalar, what do you think you're doing? You're harmonizing, creating harmony, and you're also reversing and shifting generational curses. So there's less crime, there's just less negative or stagnant thoughts within an area, etc. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Somebody wants to go live?
Hey, peace, God. Peace, God. How you feeling?
Greetings. One
Yeah, so
second.
okay. Yeah,
All right,
I like the,
you're good. You're good.
yeah, peace and healing.
What's going on? You had questions?
Yeah, I definitely had questions. I just want to start off by saying I appreciate the information you putting out there. You know, you definitely motivating and inspiring.
For
Chief,
sure.
Chief of Why Not Gods and Goddesses. I was sent your way because a few of my reflections told me that you was a master at telekinesis, and You know, I'm a practitioner of telekinesis as well, and I had a few questions, and I was putting it in the comments, but I don't think you was catching them though.
Yeah, what were the questions? I mean, I still want to mainly stick with the topic of scalar, but what are the questions?
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. It's I pretty much know everything about scalar from you, but I have some questions as it pertains to telekinesis. And first question I want to know: are you a practitioner or are you a master of TK? And if so, a lot of people think it's like pseudo or like inconsistent. So I just want to know like a few things. If you do practice TK, we can go from there. Telekinesis.
I would say it's a byproduct of what I do practice. You know, things like echo breathing. I went over this topic as well. You know, I don't know if you saw my caption or my story talking about the telekinetic can read the mind of another, but he or
Mm,
she cannot read no mind.
okay,
The
definitely.
right
Yep.
and I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. It's
Okay.
very long, but yeah,
Definitely.
the main consensus is telekinesis, aerokinesis.
Mm-hmm.
They're a form of the aspect of duality because they don't really exist in the great oneness, right? So
Exactly. I saw that
all
post. You posted that.
yeah
You posted that the other day. I was interested in that. Go ahead though. I'm listening.
yeah, all things are seen, all things are understood, all things are forever in their proper places. So even within that, you know, it is saying in the sense that all is mind. It's just a loop in itself. It's just a loop. It's just a constant loop in that
Okay.
aspect, and that's what I'm seeing in the byproduct of focusing on the harmony within. Because I tell everyone, is it better to create flames out of nowhere, or is it better
Mm,
to heal a tumor inside you and focus on that, right? Because there are practitioners out there in China that can create flames, etc., but got this big gut
yeah.
and pimples all
Yeah.
over their face, and they're you know, it's actually taking away from their life force as well. A lot of people don't talk about that,
It
and I
is.
don't want to talk
It
about it too
is.
much either. But it is taking away from their life force because it takes energy to create that outside of you, like, you know, and you have it's like your body has to compensate for that energy in that aspect too, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's a tricky topic, and it takes a lot of dedication in itself. Even when if you do want to go that path, it takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of dedication and the right intention, in my opinion, of doing things a certain way. Because great sages of old, they wouldn't just like, oh, you want to learn to create fire, you want to. They wouldn't just teach you like that.
Nah.
Even my mentor, like that was the main thing. He was like, do you want to learn how to create fire, or would you rather learn how to heal yourself if you get shot or something like that, right? So
Right.
you know, exactly.
Exactly.
It always
Yeah.
boils back
Definitely.
to yourself.
Definitely. I definitely don't want to take up too much time because I was definitely enjoying your dialogue about scalar. But I definitely agree as it pertains to, telekinesis definitely will drain, not drain, but extract energy from you. I just was healing up from a dog bite 2 weeks ago and I stopped practicing. And my reflections was like, why you ain't practicing telekinesis? And it's because like it would have took me forever to heal up. So because that energy that I'm putting out through TK, but definitely. I got one more question and I'll be out of here, bro. When
Yeah,
you
brother.
when you started when you started practicing TK, did it come naturally? I mean, when you started doing TK telekinesis, did it come naturally, or did you have to practice and learn this skill? Because I know a lot of kids they just can naturally do it, but a lot of grown-ups, adults have to be taught telekinesis. How was it in your situation?
Yeah, for me, it came naturally, understanding that everything, even down to a normal physical object that we deem as solid, etc., is still vibrating and still breathing. So harmonizing with that factor, that's where again goes back to the great oneness there.
Definitely, definitely. I definitely appreciate your energy, God, man. Keep doing your thing. I'll be in the comments.
Likewise, brother. Thank you for hopping on.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, we have another live request. Grand day, brother.
How you doing?
I'm electrically well.
How's
And
it
you?
going over there? I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So I practiced semen retention for some time. I did about a year, and I'm thinking about getting back into it. How important is that? Would you say?
Oh, that's super important. But if you do have a partner, even practicing semen retention, but also practicing breath work before having sex, etc. You can last longer, but learning how to move the seminal fluid up the spine instead of ejaculating it out. Of
Okay.
course, that's super important for sure.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I just want to get on here. I just want to say I appreciate all of what you're doing, um, all your content. Um, yeah, I'm driving a car right now. I didn't think you were actually gonna accept the request.
But I did. Here we are. Thank you for hopping on, brother, and you're welcome on
Absolutely.
here anytime.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Have a breathful day. Peace and harmony.
Bye.
I saw a question here in the question comments. Could Scalar help clean up a whole land from bad slavery energies? Of course. What do you think it's doing? You know, it's just like the aspect of going back to the whole save the soil, right? You can plant and push so much nutrients into the soil, and it's still not yielding enough plants, crops, whatever, or just growing as you would like, right? So what's happening? Don't you think the land has trauma too? Don't you think the land has trauma baggage from us? Don't you think the land take on some of that trauma? Just like if you poop on it, it'll just shift it to flowers. You know how much work and energy that takes in the aspect of biophotonics. So again, the more we harmonize with the land, of course, it'll definitely heal, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening when you have a scalar nearby or put a bunch of pyramids on the land. What do you think our ancestors were doing, creating that grid of pyramids all over the world when they were active? And I mean active in the sense of daily energy practices near the pyramid or on the pyramid or just in the general vicinity of the pyramids. They were utilizing that back and forth. And it's just like the same thing when you see some people call them Tartarian buildings, but these buildings could harness etheric energy no matter where you are. And there are some temples in Tibet, they'll tell you, if you talk to a real Tibetan monk and you ask them the stories about, hey, is it true there was a temple back in the day where monks could like chant, and then if they had a war or anything, the temple would go invisible? Well, fast forward today, what are you seeing in military practices? Cloaks, creating invisibility, etc. Where you think they were lying back then? I wonder. And now you have videos. Now you have videos like this resurfacing. Old temple, old ass temple, turning on. Look at that. This is an old ass temple, and you see how the birds are like. You see the birds as harmonizing with it. You think that's a coincidence? It's an old temple. And there's another one resurfacing with another, what's it called? It's an ancient relic, actually, a relic. And the relics, I did a whole live on the ancient relics. How these relics are, before they were quote unquote churches, if you look at the design patterns on the floors and why are they metal plated? Why do you think they were metal plated and they were harnessing etheric energy from the top, from the very point, from the very tip of the poles on top? What do you think was happening? That etheric energy was harmonizing and then it shoots inside the temple. And let's say you're laying down on it or doing chanting or doing prayer, etc. Right? And my theory, when these saints were here or alive or whatever, is when they would get the bones of their previous bodies, because they were so aligned and awakened, etc., however you want to define that, they would go to their previous body, get the bones of them, and put them in glass casing with real gold, etc. And I feel like, let's say, some someone's arm was hurting, so they would go inside the temple or the relic. Relics are not just bones and the casing over it. Relics actually are those old, super old, ancient churches before they were even churches. And some of these ancient relics have a bunch of bones. It's like you're walking into a what's the word? You're walking into a witch's den, if you will. And this is where Christians, practice their prayers, etc., right? I wonder why. I wonder why. So before Christianity came to be, these saints, someone injured would go in there, and then they would bring the box of the arm or the bone, etc., and put it right next to the person, turn on the temple, or maybe the temple was already going nonstop back and forth. It's etheric energy, so I can only imagine how healing that 0 point field is. It's the same thing as the scalar impulse generator. If you guys want to know the difference between the scalar place and the impulse generator, the impulse generator generates an electrical field of energy that is harmonizing with the body's electricity. So with the scalar place, the difference is it still does the same thing to a subtle level, but you can do long distance and you can do like the whole entire environment. The scalar impulse generator, you can only have it on for at least an hour and then maybe take 10 minutes break, etc., and then turn it back on, that type of thing. But the scalar place you can have on indefinitely, like literally running nonstop. And the difference when they would come into the relic and they would lay it side by side, and when you're having the energy run through the bones and the casing and the glass casing and the gold casing, so it has a conductivity here, and now it's like you're running it through a particular body, and you're running down to the skeletal muscle, the skeletal makeup, and you're right next to that person that has an injury on their arm, etc., right? What do you think their mirror neurons is going to be doing right next to that arm, that bone, that same exact ligament down to the core? It's mirroring all that energy going into those bones down to the T, and now your body is mirroring it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I can somewhat create something similar, but I'm going to need way more impulse generators to show you what I mean. And I can simplify it this way. So think about, I can actually take the impulse generator and place it right close to the pyramid and light up the whole pyramid. We already do that already with the frequencies, but now when you have the impulse generator, you have that cold electricity, the same electricity that Darcy Ball, Tesla, Odin was inducing to create. Okay? And we have an announcement coming later this week. We're going to talk about that soon. Someone wanted to go live. Hey, Wagwan, Wagwan. You got me speaking patois here. Yes, Wagwan. Greetings. We're
Hi,
here.
how are you?
I'm electrically well, and you? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Los Angeles, California, Hollywood.
LA. All right. All
I
right.
literally just rolled out of bed. I got the notification you had that you had your live going, and I just clicked in, and I have questions because I started following you from Clubhouse. So my first question is, what is a scalar? And then I have a follow-up after that.
Okay. So what is scalar? Scalar is thoughts. Scalar is your biomagnetic field, your auric field. We
Okay.
can prove that scale is running through the body with Kirlian photography, just like your auric field back and forth, right?
Hmm.
So with the scalar device, it allows the person or the environment to have more access to that energy. So what's happening is two of the same frequencies, depending on what you're running, is canceling each other out and creating an impulse, just like the impulse in your heart.
Hmm.
I like to explain this in a simplified way in the aspect of, imagine a scalar body is being accessed and our bodies is is reading it via mirror neurons and absorbing whatever you're pumping inside the scalar body at a faster rate beyond the aspect of frequencies. Now we're talking about energetic communication beyond the aspect of frequencies, but that's why the aspect of scalar allows it to be more digestible even without the aspect of sound. If you're asking me what's faster than light and sound, it's scalar. Even electricity itself is actually a derivative from scalar. So you could even say scalar also resides in the divine light or the divine spectrum, even down to the aspect of the sun is running on scalar.
I see. Okay. So can this be used? Well, you kind of answered it. Can this be used to lengthen the telomeres on the DNA strands?
Of course it can. There's over 40,000 different programs within the scalar, and you can also have DNA programs within there as well. You can transmute your water in that aspect beyond the aspect of alkaline water. Now we're talking about informational structure and technology. Beyond the aspect of alkalinity, we're talking about the in-depth informational aspect that's way more important in my opinion than alkalinity.
I see. I would agree because everything is pretty much tainted here in this place.
Right.
I'm definitely in a space where I'm trying to figure out how to disconnect consciousness from the concept of time. And
Oh,
with,
and that's the same thing with scalar. There is no point A to point B. It goes way beyond the aspect of time. There's just point A.
yeah, because I believe that's what causes age exponentially faster is the consciousness and its connection to this time construct that we created. And it's weird because in Ethiopia they have a 10-year time difference, and it's just interesting how people just accept the daylight savings time and the reversal of time, and it's just like nature doesn't do that. So
Nope. Nature could care less.
yeah. So with that being said, I would imagine that my energy is probably much older than my actual adult body, but my adult body is much younger than I believe it to be, according to this time construct.
It's the same construct of trying to tell your cells why you go to a 9 to 5 every day. Trying to give it some meaning. It's not really going to understand whatsoever, or even like, huh? Like what? Huh?
Yeah, I'm working on that now. Nurse. I'm a registered nurse, so you can imagine the frequencies that I pick up when I go into a hospital. And
Yes,
you
I've
know,
talked to many for sure. Yes.
it's like a parallel world because I know all of this information, and now I'm putting myself in that space to make money because this is this is what I know, and this is how I know how to make money. But in that, when I leave, the amount of energy that is on me that I have to decompress from, it takes me about another 12 hours to do that. And I have to stop because it's draining me a little bit too much. I know I help people, some, but in that I have to leave the hospital. That frequency, it's like a beast. I can't even describe it. It's like,
And it's becoming more dense from the last 10 years I've been talking to registered nurses, and a recent study came out of nurses fainting all over the place at a higher level more than ever for obvious many reasons, of course, you know.
yeah,
So it's this type of information is needed more than ever
yeah.
in those spaces for sure.
That's right. Especially if they're ready to receive it. Like that's another thing too.
Yeah.
People want to stay, or they believe they want to stay there, and that's all they know too. So thank you for answering two very, very important questions. And now I'm going to go over to your website. Is there a particular way that you use the device
Yeah,
to?
so it has a video tutorial playlist. If you
Okay.
get the scaler yourself, it has a video tutorial playlist how to do the exact same things I've been doing within your own communities, and shifting them that way for sure.
Okay.
And just like another question I saw here, that you cannot have enough scalers. You can have as many as you can handle or afford, For sure.
Okay.
The more the merrier in that aspect, for sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
For
Bye.
sure. Peace and harmony.
You too. Oh.
All right, my battery is flowing down here. Yeah, one more person that wants to go on live. Grande,
Peace.
how are you?
I'm all right. Just I've been listening to everything. I like how you explain the scalar frequencies. That it's like basically it's, how I interpret it in a physical sense. It's like a flower that's like opening, like it's already like there's just activating when you turn it on. So just like how you say like the flower of life, you had said about the correspondence with the scalar and flower of life. Um, for us to like maximize it, for example, I'm wearing like tensor underneath this, so I'm always staying protected from frequencies. And I'm
Cheers.
actually out in West Africa right now, so and one thing I noticed, there's a lot of nature, and there's the ocean by me, but there's like 5 towers within like a 1 mile radius, like big. They're like 4G towers, but it's I found that very interesting because I know they put more outage than it's needed for phones to connect to. So I'm just here thinking, why do you need that many towers? But as you're saying, the more you can use these technologies to our advantage, we can really activate ourselves and all that potential as we do have, and it's clearly being shown with all of this these radiations coming through and stuff. But yeah, I would just have a question about scalar. How does that correspond with the structures that you were showing with the ancient like Tartarian style um buildings or whatever?
Yeah, so if you notice on our scalar plates, there are specific designs. We have Tesla's patent on the front, and we use specific metals for so many reasons. And on the back, you actually see the rodent coil plate, and some of the biogeometric signatures. And when you're running electricity through those with resonance and the frequencies to those specific patterns, and you'll see the pyramid, the pyramid structure like here, the pyramid structure going like here, like so, because it's colliding those frequencies to go to that 0 point and canceling each other out, and that's causing the harmonic resonance, giving you more access to the scalar field in that regard.
Okay.
So those designs are very important to utilize, and specifically the metal is also important as well. This is why we gold plate. We use gold plating on ours as well, because the gold has a purity essence to it, so you won't have too much adverse effects in that regard as well. Mixing with other copper and composite materials.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I've been messing around with like
Oh,
Oregon.
I can't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I was saying I've been like making like Oregon type of devices and like onks, and now I'm starting to do structure. So I'm finding that wood is very positive at conducting energy and such, especially if it's the right type of wood. And then there's different ones, so it's like experimenting, but it's very interesting. Like when you can combine all of these aspects together. So yeah, definitely keep doing what you're doing. I don't want to take too much of your time.
Likewise, brother.
But
Thank you
also,
for thank you
shout
for
out
hopping
June.
on. Appreciate
Yeah.
you, and have a breathful day.
All right. Peace.
Peace and harmony. All right, we have another question here. Phone's either about to overheat or die. I don't know. Thank you for your answer. Okay, that was that. All right, guys. I'm about to get back into working out. What's up? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, Limitless Lotus. Exactly. You got it. What's the best program to start with? Are you talking about breath programs? Honestly, any of the journeys is a great way to start with the alchemy breathwork. Also, there's Brett dojos as well. Listen, anything I'm putting out there, it's all levels of breathwork. It's all levels of breathwork friendly. So no matter where you are, advanced or novice, it's it's harmonizing with where you're at. That's why when I do groups, I let people go at their own pace. I don't say, "Hey, breathe like this, breathe like that." Why are you bringing in the aspect of time? Why are you bringing the aspect of time when I want to, de-stress away from the constructs of that type of stress, what that stress brings on? Why are you bringing that into the breathwork practice? Stop it. Stop it. I'd rather count breaths instead of counting time. Inhale for 4. Well, some people are very analytical, even at the subconscious level, right? I mean, that's what it is. So when you're telling me to breathe in for 4, in the back of my head, I'm like, wait, what about 4.5.5.6? Is it really 4 seconds? Is that really 4? Hey, what if it's 3.5 that I just did? It just makes logical sense to count more in terms of breaths instead of time. Ooh, I can take this many breaths per minute. Okay. What about the quality? Ooh, I do a lot of breath work per day. What about the quality? Are you focusing on the quality or are you just focusing on the quantity? Quantity really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's the quality of the breath that matters more than ever, right? Some people can do 5 minutes. Some of you are doing 5 minutes of breath work with me and like, holy smokes. You feel a shift just like that in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes. You didn't have to hyperventilate. You didn't have to hold your breath. And that's the different breath patterns and paths I want to share with people to show you different paradigms of where the breath can take you beyond the certain constructs that's in the mainstream already. Like mental breath work, a great journey to start on, for sure. That's a great 10-week journey that is really blowing up because a lot of people are utilizing it and then telling their friends about it. Like, hey, man, I just 1 week of echo breathing did this. All right, somebody else wants to hop on live. Hello there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Where are you calling from?
Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin. Okay.
So, I've been on your live a few times. I have, your scalar, the second one.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Um.
Oh, yes. I didn't even recognize your hair. Your hair's all popped out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna just call you Lioness from now on. Lioness.
Yeah, literally, my ascending sign is Leo, so I think that's
wow.
Yeah. So, I wanted to ask, like, about plastic on the scalar, and, like, even, like, organic versus inorganic, and how scalar affects them differently or the same, or because I'm thinking, like, I know I can put hair or fingernail or a picture on it, but what if that hair or fingernail is like inside of a plastic container, or that picture has a plastic film?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Now we're in the aspect of scalar. You really mainly want to focus on the aspect of the energetic signature, right? That's why I tell people when you take a picture of yourself, if you're doing the remote pictures or taking a picture of something, hold that thought as much as you can in terms of your intention, and then it amplifies on the scalar. And remember, just like Wi-Fi, just like a signal, it goes through the walls. It's okay with us. We have the container of everyone's fingernails in a vial.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. So if like if I wanted to tell random people like, hey, let me take a picture of you, I'm gonna put it on my scalar, and I told them like, hey, have this thought or whatever thought you want, or think about love or whatever, that would amplify that. And while I take that picture, while they're thinking that, put that on the scale, you think that that would make a difference?
Oh, big time, big time. And the one of the things you can influence them to do or affirm to themselves is like, I'm inhaling what the body needs, and I'm exhaling more life into what the body needs. That's a beautiful, simple affirmation to get them to breathe life into in that exact moment in time, or do like a mini session with them and then place it on the scalar, like a picture, like right after that session. That way, your energetics is open energetically, and that'll amplify when that goes onto the scalar.
Okay, that's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Other than that, how has the experience been so far?
Good. I think another thing that made me think about plastic was I've been putting like my gallons of water on the scalar, and I've been switching over to distilled water because I've been drinking spring water, because I tried to drink distilled water before and it tasted like the plastic so much, and I would get dehydrated. I don't know if it was because of there was so much plastic I could taste
Did
it,
you
or
did you buy the distilled water? If so, then yes. If you made it yourself, then no.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh, you bought it.
I buy it in gallons, but when I put it the distilled water in a plastic gallon bought from the store on the scalar, the plastic taste goes away for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just completely goes away. So I think that's what made me want to ask about plastic too. I thought it was like really interesting. And then like if I have Tupperware with my food in it, I was just there's so much plastic everywhere. So I'm like, I wonder how that works.
Another thing you can do, because I'm working with this top chef, is literally uh, we switched over to non-chemical firmware and stuff like that in her kitchen. But we literally took a picture of everything she cooks with and like placed it on the
Mm.
scaler as well. So
Mm.
you can also do that, and it's a beautiful thing. You witnessed placing the plastic water onto the scalar, and the plastic tastes go away. That's very, very powerful. But I will say that as long as you can avoid it in the aspect of any toxicity in general, like the better. Yeah.
Right. Totally. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sister. And definitely let's keep in touch. Thank you for hopping on. Do you have any more questions?
Mm, no.
All right. All right. Have a breathful day, and also even put your car on the scaler. I see you're in the car. Put your car on
Yeah,
the scaler.
yeah, I do. I need to take pictures now of the water towers. There's so many because it's Wisconsin and we have all the
Mm-hmm.
lakes over here. There's water
Mm.
towers all over, and water all over. So yeah, I definitely should. I probably have pictures in my phone that I should just go through and take them to like Walgreens and get them printed out. And that was another thing, and we kind of talked about it too before. Is like I didn't want to get like I didn't know if I wanted to get like plastic filmed type pictures. Like I didn't know if I could just print them on regular paper, if that would have been better. But I guess it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna
It
do.
does to a certain degree. I'm gonna email you. I'm gonna send me a DM, please, and then I'll send you the link of the film paper that we use. I don't think I put the direct link in the video tutorial, but there's a holographic process that you should definitely use to amplify the resonance. But it doesn't matter too much, but it does make a huge difference when you use holographics for sure.
Yeah. So is there would do I get the holographic paper from you, or can I go to like an art supply store and get like holographic paper and like bring it to a place
No,
that?
yeah, you can either use it. We don't sell it, but you can use the link that I send you, or
Okay.
it actually has to be a specific type. So if you can get the same type, which I'm going to send to you, then yeah, if you get it from the store, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I will DM you then.
Yes, please do. And I'm happy to see that you can definitely you have that awareness to see that you can definitely make a difference in your environment, in your community, to the water supply. That's going to be very, very powerful and interesting to see.
Yeah, our side of Lake Michigan is I'm in Milwaukee, so our side of Lake Michigan, our beaches, well, one of our beaches is pretty bad. Like you can't really even you're warned to go at your own risk just because of how polluted.
There's signs up that says that go at your own
Yeah,
risk.
yeah,
Oh,
it's bad. It's bad. And it was like a few years ago, all of the fish were dead and floating in the water. And now since it's been
oh,
years,
I remember
I don't
that.
think
Yeah.
and now that it's been a few years, I don't think that there's even fish in there in that beach anymore at
Hmm.
all. And yeah, it's like swim at your own risk. And our river, it's crazy because in Chicago, uh, they'll say the river's so dirty, so disgusting, but their river is like way clearer than ours. Like
Hmm.
ours is bad, it's mucky, and
Hmm.
you know, it's crazy. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I have a really strong feeling. We're definitely creating a wave, but water is going to respond very well to the scalar, even at a remote standpoint. And again, guys, if you can't afford a scalar, remember you can email me, Devon at alchemybreath.work. Send a picture of your water tower or wherever the water supply is coming from to your city, and with the subject water scalar, and I'll put it on the scalar for free. All right, sister, have a breathful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a little bit of battery left, so if I head out, guys, I'm sorry. Greetings, brother.
Greetings, brother. How's it going? Greetings from Austin, Texas.
Yeah, I'm gonna be over there very soon, like in 2 months.
I
Really
know, I
pumped
know.
to see you guys.
We're definitely gonna connect for sure.
Yeah, whether or not I go to the conference or not, I'll still be out there. So I'm really like on the fence for obvious so many reasons, but yeah.
I have a question for you for pyramids. So as you know, we run retreats and we found a place here in Texas that has a huge pyramid that you go inside of. And the last retreat was phenomenal where people experience these amazing transformations. And I keep hearing about how powerful it is to step into a pyramid and, of course, to be surrounded by pyramids because it amplifies anything that you're working on. You manifest it quicker. The ancient Egyptians did it, the Mayans did it, but I haven't really had the time to really dive into it and find out why. Why are triangles, why are pyramids so special when it comes to that? And I wanted to ask you, because people are asking me, when it comes to the retreat, why is a pyramid so special? I want to hear from the expert.
Yeah, I'm also a student, right? So I want to bring it back to like the basics and fractal therapy and the etymology of pyramid. It comes from the word pyra, like a focus point, fire, right? So with the pyramid, you have all the sides literally focusing on that one point, going to that one directional pinpoint. So that reflects energetically. It doesn't matter from all different angles, from all spectrum, it's coming to a center meeting point. So then that's why it has the amplification beyond the aspect of geometry or the what we perceive spiritually, etc. That's the main point of the focal point of energy and how it communicates in that fashion. Was that simplified and easy to grasp?
That's definitely, yeah, that's very much simplified. And a lot of times when people are asking about certain concepts, they say, explain it like a third grader would understand it. So I feel like that definitely explains it. It was so amazing because I remember us doing, for example, there was this guided hypnosis on how to step into your higher self. And it was in the middle of the day. the pyramid has a glass ceiling, and there was just so much energy coming in. It was like this amazing vortex. All these people that are heart-centered and focusing on inviting clarity into their life, stepping into their power. And towards the very end, like my hands started tingling, and I just felt like there was this energy coming in from the top of the pyramid, and I kind of sent like Reiki to some people that needed it. And after that, the shares of people really stepping into their true essence, and like some people call it higher self, heroic self, true self, whatever you resonate with, it was absolutely phenomenal, the shares. So it was definitely real magic that happened there. I'm excited for this.
Beautiful, brother. I'm excited to maybe work with you come next year in that space. I definitely want to put that space onto the scalar as well. And yeah, see you September.
Yeah, I'll see you September, brother. I appreciate you. Let's get together and talk some more about next year, but sending love and light to you and your partner. Take care.
Likewise, brother. Have a breathful day.
Thank you.
All right, we have one more person. Again, I have a little bit of battery left, so if I just knock out, it's a battery. Apologies. Greetings,
Thank
sister.
you. Greetings.
Ah.
I just wanted to share something really quick because you mentioned the whole like breathing in for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, how that's like not good. And I totally
No, I
agree.
didn't say it's not good. I mean, it's in the aspect of it's just another stress factor. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's also what I meant. It was just easier to say not good. But when I was little, before I really understood like what I was doing, that it was part of meditation or breath work, I would just like, be laying in bed, pretty bored, and I'd just try like a bunch of different breathing techniques. Like I know you shared that post once about it was showing like this shape, and that's how I would practice breathing as I would go to sleep, and I would like be able to like levitate, and I would like imagine my body like floating over these waves, and I'd be laying in bed and just feel like I'm going over these like huge 6-foot waves and like just flowing with it. And when I tell people that, they're like, oh, that's too unbelievable, or like it was a dream. But this would happen like before I would go into my dream, and anytime that I would like hold my breath while that was happening, I would instantly like fall right out of it. And I totally like forgot that I used to do that.
So
I'm
the
glad you like,
aspect of holding the breath actually stopped the flow. It stopped the flow of the continuation of what you were experiencing. You actually confirmed one of the main reasons why I stopped practicing breath holding. If I can inhale for 4 minutes, then what's the point of breath holding? Because the breath holding, it's a nice little trainer to get you actually to that point. That's the main point. So why not just focus on the perpetual continuous flow? And just like what you experienced, if you had just continued or followed the string of the breath, you would have more. I don't like to say control, but more in the aspect of figuring out like, hey, I can stop this right now. I can go to this space of being or this mind of being, and then flow from there.
yeah. I just wanted to share that because it's like, it's really cool that I used to like do that when I was such a young girl and I had no idea what I was doing, but it was just so much fun for me.
Well, now that you're more conscious of the breath and towards your path, from what I've gathered, it doesn't hurt to reimagine all the little details around those points and tap into the continuous breath practice, whatever you're doing for the day, etc. It's just like the same aspect that I gave people who see certain shapes and see certain visuals when they do a breathing practice. I tell them, all right, whenever you go back into it, reimagine or remember what you saw, what you experienced, and follow the journey of what the body is giving you at that moment in time, and you'll find yourself going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, I really hope to be able to do that again.
No hoping, just breathe into it. Affirm to yourself, I'm
Yeah,
breathing,
that's true.
breathing into
What am I
it.
saying?
No more hoping.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
All right, sister, have a breathful day.
Thank you, you too.
All right, guys. Any questions here, guys? The battery's about to die, so I'm trying to read as many questions as I can. If somebody else wants to go live. I don't know if I have enough battery for that, but can you explain the triangle? Hey, guys, so if you're really interested in this, and you can also use it for agriculture as well, in terms of electroculture, they find that when you place the pyramids onto a plant, it actually sprouts up a lot faster, grows, etc. So just like the aspect I was telling you, you can pump as much nutrients you want into that plant, and it's not going to do as much as either putting a pyramid on it, putting it on the scalar. So what is it showing you? That the earth has trauma, the soil has trauma, and how do we help heal that trauma? Through energetic practices, placing it on the scalar, praying around it, however you want to define energetic practice to a certain degree of harmonic resonance, including gratitude for the earth, etc. That is how we really help heal the world in that regard. Right? So that is honestly the best way of really saving the soil. Any pyramid or specific kind of metal? Yeah, it's all on my website. They're orgone plated. They're not just metal plated. The one I have on top is, this one's diamond plated. The middle one is gold and copper. And the other one is, the top one is actually titanium based. And these two is gold and copper. And the other one is also just gold or gold and copper infused. And just like you guys saw with her water, she couldn't taste the plastic anymore, placing it on the scalar. So what does that show you? Now with scalar, you can be very specific instead of just focusing, oh, it's alkaline water, it's great for me, etc. We can go deeper than that, folks. We can go deeper than that. We can go deeper than that. We can type in specific things we want to infuse in the water, all the way down to gold, colloidal silver. Oh, my little girl is having seizures. I can program the water to focus on seizures, etc. Right? So, with that being said, we're also teaching everyone to learn how to harmonize with the environment, all the way down to electroculture. That's what electroculture is low-key teaching people as well when they're doing it themselves, is how to structure their own food or their own water or their own energetic interactions. And that's going to replicate and ripple into daily relationships, what you allow into your field, who you call quote-unquote friends. What's your energy budget? That's what it's teaching people. It's teaching people to harmonize and learn how to manage your energy budget. And it's beautiful when I work with different companies, corporations, and apps, and bringing scalar into the field. It's cool harmonizing with certain CEOs that really get it. And it's honestly very rare because so many people are just one-minded tunnel vision. They can't see the whole spectrum. All right, guys. If you found value in this, ooh, we're right below the hour mark. Beautiful. If you found value in this, the phone's about to die. But if you found value in this, share this. And if you are interested in also getting paid to share breath consciousness, scalars, remember it's 10 to 20%. So again, there's businesses all around you, and I'm sure some of you go into these businesses every day. Some of you may even have relationships with them. Tell them what's up. Tell them what's up to harmonize their customers coming in and becoming a really unique place of business, and really pushing away so many different stress factors that business has to take on, etc. Right? Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to the energetic health of either the being or the company. And we've seen it night and day out, where companies that start to focus on wellness and start to bring in people like me into the fold, etc., they actually tend to do better on their profit margins. It honestly is common sense, but it really honestly is common sense, because why aren't people harmonizing with the factor that it's not just you that run the company, it's all your employees? And why would you want someone so many stressful employees in your spot handling a certain product, going inside in that energy being beamed inside your product? Wouldn't you want more of a more calm, zen, happy place? That way your product is infusing with that energy. Love, man. Love, exactly. Love. Like how much how much do you love yourself so much to the T, even the place of business or the place that you own, when you go in there, it heals you or helps heal you. Sorry. Helps heal you. Why aren't we thinking like that? Why aren't we thinking like that? Why are we thinking like, oh, this is my business, that I get money like that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. I'm set. And there's a lot of CEOs that do that, actually, where there's a big article that came about CEOs in Silicon Valley are now getting into shamanistic healings, etc. Right? But most of them, I'll tell you this, because I ran into most of them, they don't put that same energy of healing, what they've done in the darkness of times, etc., into their place of business. It's like, oh, I put a suit on, all right, I'm this way. But then when I go home, oh yeah, I'm doing all this work, etc. Okay, cool. And hey, again, great power comes great responsibility, right? Some of them may abuse that type of power, and then when they go into certain spaces, they don't reciprocate it the same way. But again, everything is spiritual. Stop compartmentalizing, because a lot of them do that, especially Western way of doing things. A lot of them compartmentalize certain acts. That's why in alchemy breathwork, I literally want people to be walking glitches. Go in the matrix and realize you can be the Neo or Agent Smith or whatever, and literally shift anything in your reality in real time as you deal with it, as you deal with your trauma right in front of you. Your trauma doesn't end, oh, I'm gonna go home, okay, I'm away from this person, it's gonna end. It's gonna end. Meanwhile, deep in your subconscious, it's just replaying over and over until you actually deal with it. When you're having dreams and you don't even know how to rewire your dreams so you can learn how to send that biofeedback back to your subconscious and reprogram all that trauma that you built up with certain choices, some ill choices that you've made. And be a human and just learn how to live and breathe and harmonize and transmute. Why aren't we thinking that way? Hey, I can't think for everybody. That's not my job. I'm just doing what I can. And who's ever along the ride with me, I'm honored to have you part of the ride. I'm honored to be part of your ride in terms of the breath journey. I'm truly honored, because again, I got to this point in being from all of you with the help of us. This is a us thing. When I see it, if I can help in a magnitude way, in a collective way, That's community. Community doesn't have to be like, hey, let's set up off grid and do this and that. Why stop there? Why stop there? Think about it. Why stop there? It's the same concept like I told people. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing setting up community off grid, etc. But what's going to stop the communities in the cities from building over there, doing the same old garbage stuff, and then it's going to ripple into where you live, right? So why not learn, say, hey, I live here. I'm going to do what I can here in this moment in time so it doesn't have to come back and haunt me. Everyone is where they are for specific reasons in time. Again, with great power comes great responsibility. That's why I'm getting in the habit of anywhere I go, even if it's like a small event, I'm placing that on the scale. I'm getting in that habit because what am I doing? You know, it's the same thing in the aspect of royalty, right? When you look at royalty from ancient times or at least I'm not even, just royalty in general, right? When the royals walk, or even when someone's getting a wedding, right? You see flowers being based on where they step. You think that has no energetic significance? Think about it. What is it saying? It's saying that wherever I step, flowers grow. How deep? You know, people may overlook that, but that's deep. That's deep. The queen walks the way she walks for a reason. The queen acts the way she acts for a reason. Royalty, if you didn't know, there's a royal section in terms of consciousness where if you grow up in royalty, it is a common thing to actually practice energy work. And I truly think it's actually started from Genghis Khan's ideology of doing things, because he had all his sons, whenever he would go conquer this place, that place, he would keep the monk alive. He would keep the kung fu master alive and tell them, hey, go train my sons. Go train my sons. Any spiritual practice, etc. He had an astrologer, like all the things you can think of. Go teach my sons now. And then set them up for generations and generations, because he understood the energetic